This next video is out of this world, and quite literally on an orbital level. So let's hop into this video and check it out. What's up, cereal bowls? It's your favorite crazy cereal, InsaneAppleJackz. How are you guys doing? Because I'm doing super duper chill. Hopefully you guys are doing well as well. As today, we're here for a very special video due to the lovely people over at both Red Art Games and Daredrop for sponsoring today's video, allowing us to cover Macross Shooting Insight. They did this with the idea of us creating a review in mind, though they don't have any input on the review and they won't see it before I put it out, so you have that to rest in mind. With that fully disclosed that this video is sponsored, let's strap in for my opinion on this game. Oh, so you don't know Macross? Yes you do. How can I be so sure? Look, right here. You see her? See, I told you. Because even if you don't know what Macross is, you know who this is thanks to every City Pop playlist out there on YouTube. But before we get too deep into this, let's drop a little background here so we're all on the same page, you feel me? Macross, also referred to as Robotech in the West, which you might have already known, is a long-running mecha series by Shoji Kawamori of Eureka 7 fame, a show that we very much love here on this side. I got the Blu-ray set. Macross is a series started back in 1982, and it's spanned the decades since with a total of 4 TV series, 4 movies, 5 manga series, and a ton of games, rather about it or just appearances. And it's about this world of mecha jet pilots and the songstress goddesses of their world, based on a sci-fi timeline of the history of the human race after the year of 1999. Oh yeah, you know we're getting big sci-fi in here, baby.
So, are they mecha pilots or jet pilots?
Funny enough, they're both.
Like Gundam, right?
Well, kind of. It's like if you took Amuro's Gundam RX-78 and made them all start off as Starscream before transforming. And yes, I know that Amuro's RX-78 does have a jet form. I'm just saying. So they're Transformers. Let's roll out Legally Distinct. Let's get more into this specific game. Macross Shooting Insight released on February 6th of 2025. Oh, that's this year, as noted by the PlayStation Store, being published by Red Art Games. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate you. And has a version for PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, and Steam. For this review, of course, I'll be playing the PS4 version of the game because your boy still don't own a PS5. Like, let's be real here. Macross Shooting Insight is classified as a shooting action game. Its core gameplay is that of a shoot 'em up, with you, the player, piloting your mech that you select at the start of the story. As the screen progresses you through space and you take on waves of enemies trying to survive, all while completing your mission. Each pilot having their own stats that complement a playstyle that might be your playstyle, and it makes this mission more possible. In addition to the shoot 'em up scroller missions, this game also has sections where you'll be dropped into a location, where now in your mech form, you'll have to complete an objective by destroying or doing enough damage to objects to progress the story. The boss fights in this game, they take a mix of both of these elements and swap between them depending on the fight itself, with bosses having phases based on the amount of damage done to them, and also swapping up their patterns every now and then because of that. Well, you'll need to know how to use both forms to their full effect, because you never know which mode you'll enter your fight in, and you'll never know what the boss is looking like until you're in the heat of the moment. As for the actual story element of this said story mode, Macross Shooting Insight offers an original narrative that is captured by bringing together characters from 5 different Macross series in order to interact as they set out on a mission to rescue the songstresses, who have been kidnapped inside the story. Like, yeah, Apple, we get it. The game delivers the story to the player in a style similar to that of a light or visual novel, The way it's done reminds me a lot of one of my favorite tactical RPG series, also known as Super Robot Wars, which, funny enough, is about giant robot mechs as well, and Macross has made an appearance inside of SRW. So playing this game for this review felt like a treat to me, as I got to enjoy a style of game I like under a different genre. Baddie alert, baddie alert, baddie alert. Okay, that's enough of that. Back to the review. The game features a Japanese voice-acted dub for the lines, while also providing an English sub for localization for us not well-versed in Japanese. But would also be warned though that the story mode can range in difficulty with spikes around every corner. Really, if you're like me and didn't pay attention to how you selected story mode, as there are certain modifiers that affect whether or not you recover as you progress, and as well as if your score ends up on the scoreboard at the end of your playthrough. Me being the boy genius I am, yeah, I accidentally started the mode that prevents you from healing. So imagine the shock on my face hitting stage 2 with only 2 HP. Well, now that you've heard about Macross shooting in sight, the real question here is, what do I think of the game overall? I started to touch on this a little bit in the last section, but let's expand on that. While I don't have the most experience with Macross, I still have an attachment to it from growing up and taking in some of the media over time. So when I saw this game, I was more than excited to play it as it started popping up inside of my feed. Personally, I find Macross to be a fun and challenging game as, while prepping for the review, I ended up doing 8 hours of it on stream, just running the story mode. Though that isn't the full experience that I had, it's just an outline of the part that I streamed, where I ended up playing through sections several times in order to get the hang of things and learn the patterns just so I could clear them. All while finding my way through the game and navigating the sections, I felt a certain level of overjoy whenever I would sit up here and do a section slightly better, or even greater when I would outright just beat the section. Like, come on now. In some ways, it has the same appeal that Soulsborne's players always talk about. Oh yeah, this next attempt, bro. I think overall the look of the game is very appealing visually, with popping designs for the characters that look like they should all be standing next to each other, which, yes, they all come from the same franchise, but visually it feels like they're more so from the same series instead. The effects of the actions that you take in game themselves are bright and bold with dynamic coloring and really put the special in special effect. I only found myself complaining about some things not being fully clear a handful of times. Sometimes things just blend in. In terms of motion and the overall control of this game, I think that it handles very well and is responsive. Of course, there were moments that I felt like the right reaction didn't happen, where I would dodge and still get hit, but those happen so far and few between that I'm willing to sit up here and say that it was still a matter of me trying to learn timing. In terms of sound for this game, I'll highly suggest that you adjust the audio going into it. Unlike me, yeah, that's why we had to sit up here and not play with that Macross music, my boy. As with it being a shoot 'em up, a lot of the audio will be sound effects. Pew pew, pew pew. Especially if you like using the missiles like me, because I was definitely repeating that dialogue a lot. Which can be overpowering, and, you know, it was definitely overpowering on portions of my stream until I figured it out. Though that's not to take away from the sound design itself. I found the sound design to be very nice and immersive, almost like I was inside of the jet myself. Layered with the addition of the quality songs from the songstress. Yeah, sorry about that. You kind of got to play that one to figure that one out. Honestly, my one solid gripe is that you don't get more of the songstress music, as it's attached to receiving bonus effects in the stage progress, which is cool and probably more lore accurate. It's just, these are bops. Bops! Realistically, though, my true gripe is the fact that so much of the game is locked at the start, with only 2 modes really being accessible in the galleries, with the other modes requiring you to progress the story first in order to play them. This can make the experience feel kind of hollow on start in some ways, but then again, I guess it depends on what you're looking for, as, Like I said, I found myself lost in the story. It's just, you can't account for everyone being the same as me in that aspect. My other big one being that due to it only being English subtitle, sometimes context can be lost as you're traveling along in the story and what's really happening, as the dialogue happens in busy fights, so unless you're able to understand Japanese, which I know a few words here and there thanks to my 20-day streak over on Duolingo, you probably missed that a lot of plot beats are happening. That being said though, how does the game stack up overall as a $39 USD experience at the time of recording this? At that price point, it's considered a budget title, and if you're truly into shoot 'em ups, I can see you finding a lot of value here with the ability to score on the top leaderboards and get collectibles. Oh, surely you're gonna spend some time on this. Or maybe it's worth it for it to just be a one and done. You go through the story and you've had your fun. As someone who has middling experience with Macross, in my opinion, I see it as worth it for both veterans of the series, as well as those with no former knowledge, just due to it being an original story. While the game starting off locked in some aspects is a drag, outside that, if I had to give it a rating, yeah, it's solid. It's definitely solid. And if I had to give a number to that rating, 8.5 out of 10. That's my verdict. In closing, that being said though, this has been my review on Macross Shooting Insight, a lovely budget shooter action game that follows a sci-fi classic of the anime world. I want to thank Red Art Games and Daredrop once again for giving me this opportunity, and I'm sending you boys over to the end of the box, where we just sat up here and finished another super duper amazing video, and it happens to be slightly different because, as I said, today we've been sponsored and blessed up. Yeah, hopefully you guys sat up here and enjoyed this video. I appreciate you so much for checking it out. If you sat up here and liked it, please don't be shy with hitting that like button. That like button might hit you back. Wait, no. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing and joining the Cereal Bowl Nation, the greatest nation on the internet. If you ain't know it, now you know it. Hopefully you're doing super duper, and I can provide you with your vitamins and nutrients for your entertainment breakfast. Hashtag get your boy big this year. We going big. Further on, if you guys did enjoy this and you want to sit up here and talk about the game itself, rather you have it, rather you're considering it now after this review, rather you just want to talk about the review. Mind you, this was your boy's first official, like, big type review, you know, like structured and stuff. So leave a comment down below and let me know what you think, and I'll sit up here and get back to you as soon as I see it. With that said, there's also additional content on the screen if you're looking for me in more places, as well as the Twitch stream where you can catch me live. Hey, are you looking for me on other social media platforms? Well, those links are currently showing on the screen, or at least the hashtags and names and all that goodness. But you can also find the links, yeah, that's what I was trying to say, down in the description below as a mega link, so be sure to check that out. And with all that being said, munch, peace out, that's a wrap, and I will catch you guys later.